I'll have to wait till the chat starts.
I'm just getting into that.
Oh, we're live again. Yes, here we are. Just playing with a fidget spinner there. Smiley face.
Fidget spinner. I don't know.
Smiley face.
How old are you, Ted?
I'm as old as I think I am. Yeah. Can you remember the days when you were like 16 and your brain's never changed? You still think you're 16.
Ted, in my head, I'm 7 and I'm falling out of trees, and every time a train goes past, it's full of germs and things like that. That's how my mind works.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another fun-filled, idiot-filled eModels live from Ted here at eModels, emodels.co.uk. Welcome. We're nice to see you all again. Welcome along. I'm just waiting for the chat to load on my computer so I could see everybody that's in.
Everybody's in. Let's have a look.
Everybody's in, hopefully.
I shall run through a fast, rapid round of names.
Yeah. You say hello to everybody.
This is hello to everybody. I'll read you out. Alex Cotell, Duty Card, Beyond Hope, Duty Card, Beyond Hope, Duty Card. Simon D, Robert Grazy, Chris Williams, Bashing Kits. Hey, dude. Hey, Ant. Chris Williams, David Barker, the Oak Boys. Hey, Oak Boys. Beyond Hope. Again, we've done him. Phil Davis. Hey, Phil Davis. Saw your tank today. Love it. David Barker. Mr. Loth is in. Hey, Mr. Loth. Vincent. Nate Bliss, Northwest Modeler, evening. Matthew Birtles,
I've called everybody. The chat is working. So
Alex says, breathe.
And relax.
Paul Stewart says, oh, good, Chris and Ant in the same place. Fight. Fight.
Yeah, Ron Max says, hi, guys. Slap it on. Welcome to Slap It On Night. It sounds like something after hours, doesn't it? A bit of a slap it all night.
I know, we should not get too rude. It was a bit rude. When you watch the video in isolation with no context, it's like, what?
eModels will be popping up at everybody's feed now, won't they? Those people that are looking at alternate places when they'll slap it on and eModels will pop up.
What you mean, those gentlemen's website type places?
Yeah, gentlemen's
quarterlies, yes.
Yeah, well, if they are joining us, welcome. Yeah, you're all
welcome.
Welcome to us. It might not be what you're thinking you're looking for, but slap it on.
Slap it on. Northwest Modeler says, slap it on is now my text alert.
Oh, well, favourite last time around, yeah.
Bashing Kit says, I'm not patron enabled. Oh, I forgot to post that in the place. Never mind, moving on. Just so everybody knows, I've got a new microphone. It doesn't sound pants, so I don't sound terrible anymore. Hopefully I sound a lot better now.
Yeah. So, yep. So we can hear everybody coming in your ears.
Charlie FM.
Charlie FM.
I'm just making all these jokes that nobody's going to get.
Yeah, if you're not in England, you don't know what coming in your ears is about.
Carl's in. Evening, Carl. He's not here for long, he says. Tony Black, 2 fine coats. Slap it on.
2 fine coats. Yeah, just we've got a couple of mods in with us tonight. Just a reminder to everybody that the chat is moderated. There's a couple of rules posted underneath the on the YouTube page just about what you can and can't do. It's just so that we like to keep it all family friendly and everybody enjoying themselves. But remember, there might be young people or ladies watching, although they can probably swear as good as we can. But keep it family friendly and just if you've got any issues, just have a chat with the mods and sort it out. But
for those that know us, it's not a treehouse or an after hours podcast, so it's family friendly for eModels. Thank you.
So what are we going to do tonight? Well, once again, as usual, we don't really know what we're going to do tonight.
Yay! We have a plan, and the plan is we don't have a plan.
We don't have a plan. The plan is not to plan anything.
Plan A is plan B, and we don't have a plan B.
Yeah. So we will do some giveaways.
We can go to plan C, but that means changing the bulb. So.
We will do some giveaways. So we'll give away a mug, and we'll give away a t-shirt.
Oh no, mine's not. Can't give this one away. It's my tested t-shirt. That's not.
Can we have your t-shirt, please, Fox? Can you send it over to Heligan35 at GeoCities?
Yeah.
So
my t-shirt's in the wash. So.
Yeah. Oh, you've washed it.
I've been wearing it for 2 weeks. It got to the point where it was noticeably stinky,
yeah,
so it had to go in the
it's
wash.
the monthly wash time. Yeah. Right. So if I don't have any questions that have been sent through this week, none that I can find anywhere.
Paul Stewart just says Crichton reference, and Chris Williams says Red Dwarf joke straight over Ted's head. Yeah.
I did watch Red Dwarf a couple of times. Ted's camera is that. Ted's what's David Barker said? Ted's camera is okay. That side of his face is naturally brilliant. Yeah. To be blurry over here. I didn't realize this set goes that far back.
Set. There's a whole production crew and lighting just off to the side. There's only 2 walls.
I've got about 3 or 4 people stood over here on the with the cameras and everything else, and the sound.
You can't see the actual wall behind him. Just stops just above the camera, and there's no ceiling.
Looking
off this window, and you can see traffic going past. It's in the middle of London, really.
Yeah, I actually build everything on the kitchen table. This is just a set, just like the Craft Channel and what's that other one called, Create and Craft or whatever. QVC.
I was about to say QVC. It's actually just behind you. Is just a single. It's just a flat image, isn't it? There's no actual shelves. It's
it's a photograph. It's a photograph.
Green screen.
Right. Okay. Right. So I don't have any questions on my phone, or none have come through yet. My phone is working this week, hopefully. So if you do have any questions, you could send them to Ted at eModels.co.uk.
Notice with my new microphone how my typing is very quiet this week and not going like on my keyboard like I was last time.
So I'm just going to have a look in the.
See now I can stealth type and nobody knows I'm typing apart from when that comes up in chat, which is a bit obvious.
Right.
What are you doing there, Ted? How have you been this week? How's your week been?
Well, it's been a busy week. Hopefully you guys out there will have noticed that the part 4 of the submarine video has gone live.
Submarine.
I had it ready just after the live stream last week, but unfortunately, if you've watched it, there's a bit of a walk around in the video. You can walk. We take a little walk around a virtual submarine. Unfortunately, that wouldn't code properly, so it wouldn't load into the video edit, and everything was out of sync and everything. So it took me just over a week to get it right. But hopefully, we've got it sorted, and you're enjoying it. And from that, we'll go on to do some video diaries, just to get things move along a bit quicker and you're not getting bored seeing the same old thing again. But that's what I've been doing. So I've been sort of getting that out of the way and getting things prepared for the next installment of the videos and part of the build. And also, as I've talked about, we're going to do 1 or 2 little instructional videos, and I've been sort of preparing the groundwork for that. That's what I've been doing. That, and as well as going to work and sailing up and down the lake and serving people drinks and meeting people from all over the world. So over to you then, Fox. What have you been doing?
Well, unfortunately, this last week has been as unproductive as the week before. Just other real life stuff has taken over in the last couple of weeks. I've not really had a lot of time at the bench. The eagle work has progressed, and I will do my best to show you, but I've almost finished painting the dudes that go in the eagle. I'm just going to have to look at myself so I can see, but I'll see if I can get this in focus, and I probably can't, but let's have a look. I'm going to adjust my focus on the fly here, folks. Cutting edge technology. Let's see if I can get really close.
Yeah, that's it. I'll look it on you while you talk about it.
Okay, almost. Now, it looks a bit weird. It's kind of done. It doesn't come out brilliantly on this camera. And it looks a bit weird with the skin tones because the skin tones went a bit awry and they went a bit wrong. So I'll show that in the video. I actually was able to film the paintage. I can't really get him in focus very better than that.
Down a bit, down a bit, down a bit. Yeah, there we go. That's it. Into focus. Hold it there.
Got it. Yes. Don't move. Don't move. Yeah, so he was basically painted up. The flesh tones went a bit wonky, I'll be honest. It's not my best ever work, but I kind of went as far as I could with it. But the problem I had with the figure is, and I'll come out of zooming in now because it's hurting my arm. The problem I had was that the figure itself, the detail on it is really, really soft. It's really soft, squished, not as in soft plastic, but there's not exactly crisp edges on there. So painting the face was actually quite hard. trying to get highlight areas and recessed areas in shade, it just kind of all munched together. So I kind of did as much as I could, and it's got to the point now where I can't really take it any further because I'd have to strip the paint off, and that's not going to happen. So yes, but I was able to film the process kind of, Duncan styly, not very Duncan styly. So he's been painted. I've got to do the back wall. Back wall's not been done yet. It's going to be a brush paint job. That's about as much as I've done, just because real life stuff has taken over this last couple of weeks. So I've not really had a lot of time, to be honest.
I think you've got to remember about painting those figures as well in that scale, and when they're inside the cockpit, they're not really going to be that visible to see. They're just going to be,
I mean, I did kind of give up on the feet. I was painting the feet, but the feet are so kind of not particularly well sculpted. I kind of gave up on doing all the detailing on the feet. I thought, you know what, you're not going to see them anyway. I'll just get them the right colour, and we'll cut our losses there. So, but I mean, the figures overall are quite soft. But the advantage with that is because the figures themselves, they're not supposed to look like Eagle Transporter pilots. They're supposed to look like the 1/24 scale Gemini pilots that were used in the filming model. So what you have is the Gemini space helmet, and you have the two microphone pickups here, which you can't get rid of, so you have to paint them in even though they're not in an Eagle pilot. And you have lots of tubes coming off the central chest box. There's like a black ribbed tube from underneath, which is like either waste or it's air or something like that. But because the details are soft in that case, it's an advantage because you can paint over it as if it's a crease in the spacesuit and not an actual black tube. So I was able to not have to paint that black tube. But with the pickups for the microphones, they're so big. If you painted them flesh color, it'd look like his chin was like Desperate Danny. There's a massive chin sticking out of his helmet. So I had to bite the bullet and paint those. So they're not technically accurate because it's not an Eagle pilot and they don't have pickups here in front of their mouth. But you're not going to, like you say, it's in the cockpit, so you're not really going to see that much. You're going to be more distracted by this big, long, 22-inch long Eagle than looking at the figure in the cockpit. Yeah, that's my hope anyway.
Yeah, that'll be it. Oh, look, big 22-inch Eagle. Oh, yeah, there's a pilot in there as well. Oh, look, a big Eagle.
Yeah. Oh, I've been distracted by something and I can't think what.
That's it. Yeah. Just looking at those figures as well, it just reminds me, I've just been watching episodes of UFO, and the pilots are quite reminiscent of the aliens. I think during that 70s, everybody must have worn the same space helmet. So.
Yeah, I was trying to remember exactly what the helmets were, and there were some specific helmet. It was like some kind of it was some kind of motorbike helmet that they were able to fudge around a bit and make look like a space helmet, I think. But the best bit is the spacesuits, which in the actual costumes were kind of look like they're made out of 1970s sleeping bag material. You know, like bright orange with the quilted pattern. If you ever had a sleeping bag as a kid in the 70s, they're always blue on the outside and bright orange on the inside. I don't know why. And they were designed to keep in all the sweat. So if it was a hot summer's day and you were camping, you were just dead. But it looks like this. Go on.
Like these jackets, really, designed to keep in all the sweat.
I'm getting the war. I'll take this jacket off. But yeah, they look like they're made out of like flumpy sleeping bag liners. So it's good fun. But they are nice little figures, I say. But a lot of people think, oh, they're nothing like Eagle. They think, oh, it's a bit rubbish because they don't look like Eagle pilots. They're not supposed to. The whole model is not supposed to be a representation of it's not supposed to be a model of the fictional vehicle. It's supposed to be a model of the studio model, so they've matched the pilots to what were actually in the studio model. So it's quite clever because people have complained saying, oh, they're rubbish, they're not very good Eagle pilots. Yeah, they're not supposed to be. They're actually very, very close to the original. I can't remember who made the kit. It might have been Hella or somebody. I don't know if it was not Revell. It might have been Hella or Airfix.
I do think that some people get sort of confused with it being a specially designed kit and what was a studio model, and they think, well, this is pretty rubbish, this kit, really, because it's not, it's not intricate, it's not such. But as you say, it's a representation of the studio model. So
they've based it as close as they can on the studio model. So yes, the pilots don't look like Eagle pilots because they didn't on the real thing, on their studio model. They haven't done a representation of the fictional vehicle, because then you would have pilots that look like Eagle pilots. And they haven't built an interior because there wasn't an interior cockpit on the studio. There was just a back wall and two guys stuck on it, and that was it. So that's why there's no cockpit interior, because there wasn't on the studio model. It's quite a faithful reproduction.
Yeah. I'm just breaking away for just checking who's back in the chat at the moment. I see Adam's joined us. Good evening, Adam.
Oh, hello, Adam.
Yeah, Adam's joined. I'm going to see who else is coming as well. I can't remember where we got to, so if I miss you out, I do apologise. We'll find you shortly.
I think the only people that have added since we last said were Whattington is in. What?
Mike Mountain.
Black. Yeah, Ron Matt came in. Mike Mountain. Scaly Models, Mike Mountain.
Yeah, we've got quite a few watching us tonight as well on the outside. So if you do want to join in the chat, if you want to come along and ask some questions, you can, as I say, you can email them to me, Ted at eModels, or you can press. I think there's a little icon. Is it down here or is it down here?
Kind of just here under my man boobs.
Yeah, if you press the YouTube icon, it'll take you across to YouTube, and it should flash up the chat, so you can join us in chat.
Yes, if you're watching on eModels.co.uk, then you can click on that, and the chat will appear, and you can magically take part and air your opinions in a family-friendly manner.
Right, yeah. Speaking of that, I do have a question that has come through from Scott Sutherland. Just hang on, Scott. I'll just get the question up.
And where's Scott from, Ted? Get it right.
Orkneys.
No, he still got it wrong. Scott, I've tried.
It's
Scott.
It's not the Orkneys.
It's
Orkney Isles.
Orkney.
Orkney.
Yeah. I'm teaching him, Scott. I'm teaching him, but he's getting there.
I'll get there.
Yeah, see, look,
get there.
Odo's having a little tiny conniption fit right now.
Ron Max says, bashing Kit's answered his question. He can go for a cup of tea now. Yes. Bashing Kits does everything.
Yes.
Yes, he's good. Yeah, you want to see some of his stuff. Right, he said, any tips on working and soldering photo-etched parts?
Over to you, Ted.
Thank you, Scott. I'm moving on.
Thank you for your question. Over in other news.
Soldering photo-etched parts, working with it is sort of a whole issue in itself. Tiny parts, gluing parts, usually PVA glue or super glue. If you excuse the noise, I have available from eModels is a wax pencil for picking up tiny bits.
Is that the UMP one?
That's the UMP tiny pencil.
I got one of those before I was doing some photo etch for the first time, and I got one of those pencils. I thought I'll get one of these, and I thought I've no idea why I bought this. I don't know what it's for, and then I used it for what it's meant for, and it was like, this is the best thing I've ever had, just for picking up little bits of Peter. It's great.
I have seen similar things for picking up photo etch parts, and they're a little bit like a cotton bud, a Q-tip for our American brothers.
Yeah, I can't cut to a picture of a president on dinosaur like in my videos, but never mind.
Yeah, so they're a little bit like a Q-tip, but they're a sticky gel. And I've seen kits of them, but these are brilliant. Just a couple of quid from eModels, I think.
It's just like a wax pencil, isn't it? So
yeah, it's just like a wax pencil. I think you could use some wax pencils, but these are made for the job. And as I said, excuse me, all you do is just you don't even have to wet it or anything. Just it won't pick up this part now. It's picked up that part. So tiny piece of plastic just picks up your tiny photo etch a lot easier than trying to flick it across the room with tweezers, because you guarantee that if you pick it up with tweezers, you'll flick it across the room, but it'll disappear into the
abyss
forever.
The good thing with those pencils is that, unlike say sticky cotton buds, you're not using hundreds and throwing them away. That'll last you for years, and if you get glue on the end, you just sharpen it in a pencil shop.
Just sharpen it. No.
Scott does say, I don't know if you saw a picture of the photo etched nightmare I've got himself into. It was the one he posted on the Boom Hut. If you saw that, Ted, it's like
I haven't seen it. No, I haven't seen it.
It's 8 trillion parts for a boat or ship of some sort, and it's like sheet after sheet after sheet of photo etch. And I looked at that and was like, I'm turning my computer off and going downstairs now. It made me palpitate noticeably.
Yeah, but if you need to solder it, soldering is a different way in itself. The best thing I can advise you to do would be to get a variable voltage soldering iron. That way you can vary the heat. There are a couple of ways to solder it if you do need to solder it. And that is by melting the way to solder is by melting solder. I'm just trying to find my solder bits. What I would suggest you do if you're having to solder a right angle joint, it's
a Gundam.
Sometimes
should have said that in Japanese really to make the joke better, but I can't remember what it is.
Excuse me, I've got a cough.
Oh no, he says it's the full slat. It's the full slat armor for the M1134 Striker. So nothing to do with boats. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, you'll be there forever.
Yeah, I'm an idiot, but that's my job. So expect no quality from me.
What I would suggest you could do if you have a straight piece of, I'm not sure how it goes together. I'm assuming it will be slat armor like that, which will be joined onto something like that. Am I right, Scott? Is it like that? Was it joined together something like that? Solder by Matthew Birtle says he solders this on low temperature iron flux solder and a third pair of hands. Yeah, you need lots of hands. Another secret I have found, and you can get it if you search the interwebs and such for it, is
I'm gonna have to apologize to Pete. I'm gonna have to take my jacket off. It's too hot in here. I really have to take my jacket off. Pete, I must apologize.
Yeah. If you can get hold of it, have a look around for it. Interwebs. I think this was from, I think I got this at Telford actually. Solder paste. Comes in a tube like that. All you do is squeeze it onto your joint, heat it, and it just runs and just solders it together. It's not like the wire where you need to sort of have your two parts together with two hands, and then this this stuff here. Okay, get it out. Hang on. Usually, what you end up doing is you have a bit of that in your mouth and a bit on your soldering iron, and you're trying to get it all together, and it's a nightmare, honestly.
Is this where you need a third pair of hands on your desk?
This is where you need a third pair of hands.
I mean, literally a little small.
I have got some somewhere. Yeah, the little clamps with the.
What they're called? They're called something helpers, aren't they?
Yeah, little, third hands or something like that. But if you can get some solder paste, it will just run. It takes all that holding together out, and you just touch your soldering iron on it, and it shoots and runs into all the crevices. It's a little bit difficult to try and explain just in 10 minutes in a live stream. It sort of needs a full video or a demonstration on its own to do it properly. I did do a little bit of soldering in the submarine video, but that's nowhere on the intricacies of soldering photo-etch. If you have
you just volunteered yourself to do a soldering?
I think I just volunteered. If you can solder photo-etch, it's far better than gluing it, and a lot neater. But you do have to remember, when you have used it, is clean it up, because there's a lot of flux and stuff in it, and it will affect your paint. So that's the little tip. Hopefully I've answered a little bit of that for you.
David Barker says, do you slap the paint? Do you slap it on, Ted, in the paste?
Yes, slap it. No, you don't slap it on. Not this time.
Slap it on.
A little bit. It's the mud and stuff that you slap on. So that's it. Soldering iron and soldering photo-etch in a nutshell. Difficult to do. I don't envy you, especially when there's that much to do. And another tip is to use some crocodile clips, not as clamps to hold it together, but use as heat sinks. Once you've soldered, if you've soldered these two parts together, if you soldered those two parts together, put a crocodile clip onto the joint that's just been soldered, and then when you move across to this part, the heat won't travel through this joint here, and while you're soldering this bit, unsticks this bit, and it all falls apart. So put some heat sinks on, one on the joint, one before the joint. I don't know what happened then. I've just lost the screen. Hang on, I'll be back with you in a moment.
Hello, have you gone somewhere?
Yeah,
I
had on my end. Yeah, so one crocodile clip on the joint as a heat sink, one before the joint to stop it, and there you're ready to go for your next piece. I think, hopefully, are you with it? Do you get all that?
Wow, that's just like, that isn't something you can answer in 10 minutes in a live podcast.
Yeah. It's hard to explain. It's easy to show someone. Yeah, I think I've talked myself into it now.
Yeah, because I wouldn't have a clue. I don't even know what end of a soldering iron to grab. So
yeah, I have to do some soldering. I'll do a little.
I mean, I would know like 5 seconds into the whole process, but before that, I wouldn't know which end to grab.
And then it all comes down to cleanliness and fluxes and different types of solder. You can get, this is electrical solder. You can get also different heats of solder, so it melts at different temperatures. So you start off with the highest temperature, and as you progress along something, soldering it on, as you progress along, you do shorter and shorter heat settings. So it doesn't stick the one right at the end. And then use your heat sinks to start again. All right.
Cool. That was a good answer, Ted.
Matthew Birtle says you can buy heat putty. Yeah, it does the same stuff.
Yeah.
Whack it on.
Yeah.
It takes the heat out. But,
Northwest Modeler says, I hope Pete Mate isn't watching Fox. Yes, Pete Mate, I had to take my jacket off. It's 100 degrees in here, and I'm like, I can't. So unfortunately, I've had to take my jacket off.
No, man, we've still got the cup.
Yeah, I'll sit like this.
Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, if you look at this kit, it's a really good kit. Might get in the way. You know, there's no difference. There's no difference, is it? You can't tell, can you?
Yep.
There you go.
Right. Right. What next? Where were we up to? I've lost track of what we were doing now. Do I have another question? Did I have another question?
Yes, if anybody's got any questions in the chat, please do put questions in the chat, because we don't have any other questions that aren't in the chat. So,
Vincent, we're talking about the UFO and Eagle helmets the other day. They were Bell helmets. I do remember them. Yeah, I remember them now. He sent me a picture. I don't know if you could see the picture. I remember the shape.
That's not. I don't think that was the ones that were in Space 9910. They were something very specific, and I'll find out.
Yeah, similar sort of shape. Yeah. Yeah, I remember the
Google
Bell
while we
helmet.
stream. What were the Space 1999 helmets?
Is that the question?
Oh no, that's what I'm looking at here. I can't find. Oh well, I'll find out. So for the next episode, maybe. I'll forget.
Adam says when you held the mug up, then it looks like eModels tested.
eModels tested. Ron Mack says not hot enough to take his hat off. Though it's never too hot to take your hat off. It's never hot enough to take your hat off.
Yeah,
a sweet hat must always remain.
You see, what happens is it's in Fox's house. It's either washing or washed. So, and this week it's washing. It's laundry week this week. So next week.
That's the reason it's so hot is because there's been laundry done, so the heating's on to dry it, because it's not exactly a warm day. So the heating's on, but it is a bit warm. And this room with all the lights and everything else just gets so hot because it catches the sun all day. That sitting there in this jacket would just kill me. I've already shed about 8 stone.
They've got horrid pictures set in my mind now of Fox modelling in the nude.
Ew, I don't want to see that. That's me. I don't want to know what goes through your mind. Family friendly, Ted. Family friendly.
Keep it friendly. Right. Yes, it's up to you guys now in the chat to send us some more questions.
Yes, the consensus seems to be the 1999 helmet is a copy of the Bell Star motorcycle helmet, says Google. Fiberglass molded from Bell Star motorcycle helmets.
Yeah, that's one that Evil Knievel used to wear, if I remember rightly.
I don't know. Evil Knievel was only that big.
Evil Knievel.
When
you wound him up.
Yeah, and it was cuddling his eyes that when you wound him up, you took all the skin off your knuckles. Just that far. I had the Evil Knievel truck when I was a kid. I didn't just have the bike. I had the truck. The big truck where you could take the sides off and they made ramps to jump over the truck and had all the tools and toolkits. It was great.
Best Will Russell Will Rousseau asks, what's the best paints and clear to seal? What's the best paint and clear seal to use with brushes or on a shiny 1/8 Citron?
Now we know which 1/8 scale Citron that is, don't we?
Oh yes,
That'll be the one that we saw in the shop the other day.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to assume then that your dad is painting it with brushes only because it was for his dad.
I think it's very difficult, really. I would more go with rattle cans.
If airbrushing's not an option for something that big, rattle cans. Tamiya rattle cans will be absolutely fine. eModels have got Tamiya and army painted colours in stock. Tamiya are fine. They're lacquer paints. They're nice, hard wearing. As for gloss, I've never really come across a good rattle can gloss. Humbrol rattle can gloss. No, the matte's great. The gloss, it's hit and miss. There is the Mr. Hobby, Mr. Top Coat, which I think might be in stock. I think there's Mr. Top Coat. If Ted can quickly check for me, it might not be in stock. Mr. Top Coat is a gloss finish. That's quite good.
Searching.
But yeah, the gloss, the clear seal, the clear gloss, if you're doing a gloss finish, it's quite tricky to do it with the brush because even no matter what you use, it's probably going to look kind of a bit ropey if it's not sprayed on. But then a rattle can gloss is quite hard. Is it, just to remind us, Will, is it the Citroen 15 CV that we saw in the shop the other day, the one that I remarked, and you said yes, that's from that was mine, because that looks awesome. And has he got that far in the build already? Wow.
Yeah, you must let us know how that kit looks inside and send us some pictures of the build. We'd really love to see that. I do have these. I'll just share the screen if you will.
Yeah, he says no airbrush. Yeah, go for it. Beyond Hope says, can't you brush aqua gloss? You can brush aqua gloss, and you can brush Pledge Floor Care Finish 2 times more shine / future / clear, but it's never going to look as shiny as if you either airbrush it. If you airbrush it, it's always best to airbrush a gloss, but if you can't, then these on the screen now,
those there, yeah,
Mr. Top Coat Gloss and Mr. Top Coat Flat are actually really quite good. The gloss is actually pretty good. It's used a lot. A lot of people use it for Gunpla building to get really nice shiny Gunpla, but it's useful for anything. And it is actually quite a nice gloss. Recommended to use it with something like Tamiya paint. I can't remember if it's an acrylic or a lacquer though. I think it's an acrylic. I think. But to be safe, I'd probably say, just to be safe, in case it is a lacquer, go with your Tamiya rattle can paints because they're basically lacquers for the colours, and with the rattle cans, and then gloss over the top with, say, the top Mr. Top Coat Gloss. They are quite small cans though, so you might need, with the kit that big, you probably need a whole bunch of them because they're not. I haven't got a can here. That's a Tamiya rattle can. I think the Mr. Hobby ones are a little bit smaller. So, yeah, you might need quite a few for something that big.
Yep. Phil East confirms what you said. The next second best is Tamiya. Try that.
Just be very careful with Tamiya Clear because there are different Tamiya Clears and some of them are not gloss coats and will just make a complete carnage of your model. I can't remember which one. Unfortunately, I can't remember which one is the actual one you want to use. But enough people may be and say, "I put Tamiya Clear on this and it's gone wrong." And it's like, yeah, you sprayed a lacquer gloss varnish onto an acrylic paint and it went. So, just make sure. Obviously, it's relevant to the paint you're using. I'm still warm. I'm still really warm, and I've not even got the jacket on now.
I've just been sent a picture by Matthew Drake of the Space 1999 guys. There we go. Can we see that? Can we see that one? Is
yeah,
that's it. Yeah. There's the helmet as well in there. Not quite sure. Yeah, it does look like a bell helmet, but it's a little bit more rounded in the cheek in the chin piece. But never mind. It's just a bit of fun. Yeah. So
another question has come through. Ted in capital letters, as in the science talk. Ted, any tips on improving a cheap airbrush? Sometimes money is tight and we have to get what we can do. So any tips would help.
It really depends on what type of airbrush it is. If it was one of those Chinese eBay type things, it's quite possible, only possible because the Chinese do sort of blatantly copy another model.
Should we just say
airbrush.
rip off and take the yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can try to improve the seals inside the airbrush, but then you need to buy the seals, you need to buy the tools, and by the time you've done all that, to improve a cheap airbrush, can you really? Is it really worth the effort and the money to do it? And you might find.
Yeah, the thing to bear in mind is that if you were to buy yourself a little cheap sort of knockoff Chinese, everybody calls them knockoff Chinese, but there's other ones, but a knockoff airbrush, you could replace all the seals and needles, but it comes down to the engineering. And if the actual main chassis of the brush is, say, a little bit wonky or not quite lined up right or doesn't fit together very well, then putting in new seals and better needles might not make a difference. But it's worth a try. Like Ted says, if you can swap the internals out, that might be the big problem, because what you find with the cheap ones is a lot of times the internals, like the seals, are really cheap and fall apart that easily. So, but it's knowing what will fit in the cheap airbrush, and that's the difficult bit.
Yeah, you see, you might buy your set of seals, try them in your airbrush, and they don't fit, and then because you've unwrapped them and tried them, you can't send them back, so you'd have to send for another set and try them again. So yeah, it might be better to cut your losses, just save up a little bit longer, and try and get a decent airbrush. In fact, we're going to have a look at some airbrushes tonight. eModels have got some in stock.
Yep, new in stock.
Yeah, so,
and they are. I won't spoil the surprise.
Yeah, but
I'll just do that.
Yeah, so yeah, you have a look around. You may even find you find a decent price airbrush. eModels, have a look, see what they've got, and just save up a few extra quid. It's Christmas. Yeah, Christmas is coming. Birthdays are coming if they haven't already been. And yeah, just drop hints to everybody. Yeah, so,
I mean, you can be lucky, like Adam says in the comments there from Enigma Model Making, says you can be cheap. You can be cheap. You can be lucky with cheap airbrush. I mean, you can be cheap. I'm cheap. You can be. Shouldn't say that out loud. You can be lucky with cheap airbrushes. You know, Adam's got one and he's used it for years. Some of them you could get one and it could be absolutely fine.
Yeah, I've got this one. This was a cheap airbrush. It's one of these. You probably see them on eBay. I have had it years. You see them on eBay. There's a set of 2 airbrushes and a compressor, and it all came with that. The other compressor lasted me for a while until I got the new compressor. The other airbrush fell apart, but this one has just kept going. I use it now for clear coating and doing big work, things where I'm not too fussed what really goes through it, but I give it a lot of abuse and it still comes back fighting. Yeah, so you know, sometimes you can strike lucky and get a good one, and there are some obviously better than others.
I mean, the main two sort of downsides to sort of the cheaper airbrushes, and the main reason that you might have problems with them, not always, but you may do, is that usually the internal components aren't up to the same kind of standard of quality. So the seals will fall apart after a little while, or the needle doesn't really fit super flush into the nozzle, so it's not this perfectly engineered fit, and you might get some weird spray patterns, and it's just generally with them the fit and finish is not quite up to the same level as you know, your more traditional airbrushes. But it doesn't mean that you can't get a cheap airbrush and use it for years and years and years, and like Ted does, use it for the stuff that's like the hardcore thing. So I've got my Neo, my little trigger Neo, and that's my baby, and that's where all the paint goes through. But if I want to use say something with lacquers, or something like a really thick primer, or something that I know is going to require something strong to clean up the airbrush, I'll use my old Iwata Revolution, because I think this may actually be solvent safe, but I'm not 100% sure because they changed them. And I don't know if this is now or isn't solvent safe, because they changed them and they now are solvent safe, but this may have been before, so I'm not sure. So I don't take the risk. I use my old Revolution, which is solvent safe, and I can put lacquer paints through that. I can put Citadel paints through that because they're hard to get out, so I'll just run alcohol through that to clean it out. So sometimes it's worth having the cheap airbrushes, either just to get started, if you're just starting out, so you've not invested a lot of money in an airbrush, but also you just want the rough and ready ones that you can use to, as Ted would say, slap it on. I don't do it quite the same.
Slap it on. Yeah.
But it is worth saving up if you want the best results. I would say hold fire and save up, because you can get to, even if money's tight, you can probably get a decent airbrush for 50, 60, 70 quid. But I mean, obviously now that's not cheap to some people. It's not cheap to me, but it is worth saving for in the long run, because if you get a cheap airbrush, you spend less, but it might break after a month and you have to go and get another one. So then after 2 or 3 of those, you've spent the same as you will get a good quality airbrush.
And I'm sure a lot of people will confirm as well that you've used a cheap airbrush for years and years, and you get a good quality one, and you can notice immediately the difference. It just handles better, it feels better, and it just sprays and gives you a better finish. And usually problems on a good price airbrush. Just a message coming through. I'll have to turn the sound off. I forgot what I was going to say. The problems you get associated with airbrushes, splattering and such like that, is always down to cleaning. And that's generally it. So you can spend a lot of money on an airbrush and still have problems with it, but keep it clean and it'll last you for years. So yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you can get good mileage out of cheap brushes, and when you do get yourself a nice brush, keep the cheap one, because that's good for your dirty work, as it were.
Yeah, I put Pledge Clear if I'm using Pledge Clear or anything like that, and that goes through it. Varnishes go through it, clear coats go through it. Bits that and I've actually left this full of primer the other week.
Don't. See, I'm in this position now where, because of mine, I don't know if mine is the more recent solvent safe one or the older not solvent safe one. I don't want to take the risk. If I knew it was solvent safe, I could happily run enamels through it and run isopropyl alcohol through it just to clean it out and get it nice. But I don't want to take the risk. So I'm in this kind of nether grey area where I'm like, I probably could do harsh things through this, but I don't want to do that, because just replacing the seals would be a pain. I don't want to spend the money. So it's quite frustrating.
Yeah. And the H&S ones, you can send them back and get them serviced.
They're handmade and rolled on the thighs of Cuban virgins stars.
I understand that these are hand built by individual engineers at the H&S factory. Each one is responsible for your airbrush. They get allocated airbrush.
Mr. Loth asked me what colour the seals are. I don't know. The seal inside the head unit, I think, is, I don't know. I can't remember. The funny thing is, I don't actually know which bit the seals are, because I've been using airbrush for years, but I've never had the nerve to do a real full proper take every single component apart, because I just break it. So the bit inside the head unit is white, but I don't think that's the seal. So I don't know. A normal airbrush I could strip down, but because this is trigger, I don't know how this trigger bit comes apart. So I don't want to start futzing with it and break it forever. So I will never know. I'll just have to live in confusion until it breaks and I have to get a new one.
Yeah. I'm just receiving a message that I'm to tell you off because you've took your jacket off.
I know I have, but it's like 1,000 degrees. It really is. I have to apologise. I'm sweating cobs.
Next week we'll have available the eModels fan.
I had to. It really is. It really is so hot in here. I'm sweating now, and I've just got a t-shirt on.
Yeah.
My apologies, Pete. I lasted as long as I could. Is that being trouble now?
So you never know when you're being watched.
I mean, my glasses. Trust me, my glasses are steaming up. That's why I have to rub them as well. My glasses. It's so warm in here.
Little wipers on your glasses.
Well, like on a helicopter where they have the camera and the thing just goes like when you watch the Formula One. So yes, Pete, I do apologise. I had to take it off. I'm suffering badly.
Yeah, I've just got the aircon on in the studio here. I've got the aircon on.
Aircon. There you see. What aircon have I got?
Yeah, that means I've left the door open.
Yeah, I've got my window open. It's still warm.
Right.
Live on telly and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. We could drop hints about eModels t-shirts. They'd go down well, wouldn't they? Instead of the Amor t-shirts, which you can win later. I've got a big stack of them up there.
Yes. Yes.
Ready to win a T-shirt. Yeah. So stand by. Wait for the question to come, and you could win yourself a Make of Ammo T-shirt.
I've got to clean my glasses again because there's a big foggy bit right down at the bottom. And all I can see when I look at Ted when he's talking is this kind of foggy, blurry mess. So I'm assuming it's my glasses. I don't, you
know. Like Superman, I move so fast I'm a blur.
Yeah.
Right, let's have some more questions out of you guys. You're
Yes.
keeping us busy tonight.
Yes. Should we do one more question and then have a look at what's in the store?
Yeah, that'll be an idea
tonight. Yeah.
And an idea, as we pointed out last week, if you do have a question, so that we can sort of notice it coming up in the chat, if you could type in capitals question and then put your question after that, it stands out a little bit better for us. If it scrolls up too fast, we can find it again. It makes it easier for us to find what's being said.
Beyond Hope says, Fox, it's Ted Studio. He probably has a personal fan assistant. Yes.
Oh, all right, Philly's got his T-shirt today. Well done. Hope it fits. Yeah. I found a better way to post them as well. Unfortunately, if you do win a T-shirt, you have to wait until I get the chance to get to the post office because they're always shut when I'm going and coming back to work, and it's not a job where I can nip off just to the post office. I'm just off to post this. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Can't do that.
TK has a question.
TK
says, I've been playing Borderlands, so I'm thinking TK Baja now. While we're on airbrushes, what's the difference between airbrush thinner and cleaner for acrylics? Enamel and such just uses terps for both.
You can answer that one. You can answer that one, guy.
I think really the difference between thinner and cleaner is, I don't fully know, but I know with thinners are designed to obviously dilute a paint to a certain degree, but they'll also have things in them designed to make sure the pigment doesn't just separate out too much and doesn't just dissipate into the fluid too much. Ideally, see, this is the problem when you're using, say, brush paints and you thinner paint using, say, water or thinners as opposed to using a clear medium. If you thinner paint using a clear medium, it retains the same behavior and properties as the paint, but it's more transparent. If you use thinners, it just thins the paint out, so it behaves differently. Thinners are just designed to spread the pigment out, but try and retain some of the behavior of the way the pigment is deposited on the model. Whereas cleaners probably have different stuff in there. They'll have things like surfactants and other chemicals in there to try and break down the paint in the airbrush and remove it completely. So you'll probably find that if you try to use airbrush cleaner as a thinner, the paint isn't going to bond when it hits the model. It's going to try and pull itself apart, not bond and make a flat layer. And most acrylic paints, various paints, not just acrylics, have very specific ways of drying. They'll self-level. The atoms will try and line up in a certain way. That's how glass varnishes work. They self-level and the molecules can all line up. A cleaner is designed to break all that apart, whereas the thinner is just designed to dilute it, but maintain some of the way that the paint actually behaves. It doesn't try and break the color down, if that makes sense. That's why, if you put thinner in thinner and paint in an airbrush and leave it, it will still eventually clog up and dry out. Whereas if you put airbrush cleaner in there, it's not really going to. I mean, it would do eventually, but it'll take a lot longer because the cleaner is there actively trying to disassemble the paint and break it up into I don't know. I'm getting into sort of chemistry there, and it's really beyond my knowledge.
Is this from a bit of knowledge from the car detailing days when they used to thin paints and clean and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I
can understand it. Yeah, I understand the principle of it. Yeah,
I mean, well, the difficult thing is when you're doing things like actual car painting, that's where it gets a bit more confusing because you have standard thinners, which you can use to thin paint, or you can use to clean your spray guns out. So the same thing does actually work. But in airbrush cleaning, I think it's slightly different. With things like standard thinners, they will eat anything alive and they're super strong and they're designed for industrial purposes. With airbrush cleaners, I think it's more, there's things like, I'm going to assume, let's have a look and see. Can I actually see any ingredients on my Medea airbrush cleaner? Let's have a look. Does it say what's in it? No, of course it doesn't. No, it will be in the makeup base. This will be designed to things like airbrush cleaners will be designed to break paint down. So if that's why you can put this in your airbrush and leave it to soak, it will break up any clogged up paint. There'll be surfactants in there to try and break. Like washing up liquid is a surfactant. It breaks stuff up and breaks the surface tension. So this will be the same thing. Whereas thinners don't do that so much. But then it does get confusing again because you have things like alcohol that can be used as thinner or to clean your airbrush out. So isopropyl alcohol kind of does both. But if it's a specific airbrush cleaner versus a specific paint thinner, then yeah, they do carry out different jobs. You wouldn't use a specific airbrush cleaner to thin your paint, if you know what I mean. But you can clean it. But you can use alcohol to clean and thin, but that's not an airbrush cleaner. So there you go. I confused myself.
Yeah, basically you're saying that you're saying.
Oh, your audio went horrible there, Ted. As Ted died, as his broadband gone.
Am I here?
Yeah, your audio is really horrible and choppy. Ooh.
Oh my God.
I think maybe is your broadband gone a bit funky?
It seems to be working on my end.
It's very like your sound is like a Dalek.
No, I'm just checking connections, checking everything's safe. Has it come back yet?
No, yeah, we've got your audio. It just sounds like a Dalek. It's horrible. It's like Try turn your microphone off and on again. Have you turned it off and on again?
Turn it off and on again.
Or plug it and plug it in.
Right, how's that?
That's better. There you go.
Right. I
think just microphone was
turn it off and on.
Yeah, it always fixes it. Turn it off and on again. There you go. Every time something goes wrong with Ted's end, I panic because I'm on my own then.
Well, one of these days, hopefully it won't happen, but one of these days, guys, things, knowing our luck, will just shut down. Yes. If that happens, dash across to the eModels Facebook page and we'll try and explain what's going on.
Yes. Adam says, please, for the love of Pete, say exterminate.
All right, can't do it now.
It did sound like that.
Yeah, I think Adam missed it last week. He wasn't here last week for slap it on.
Slap it on. Dave Barker says you must have pulled the cable out again.
Yeah, I have a habit of spinning around and pulling the cable out. Right, we've been in for an hour. Should we go and have a look what's in store while we?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Oh no, we've got a question from Simon D. Question: what's a good black for 50s jet for a 50s jet cockpit that would not be too black or too bland and be able to weather and look interesting?
Rubber black.
Yeah, rubber black. Yeah,
to me, rubber black's a good colour.
Yeah, either Tamiya or many others do a variation on this theme.
DK says the same. To me, a rubber black. Philly says to me, a rubber black.
Yeah, I think you've had. Hope, yeah, that's the same thing. Tamiya do the NATO black, don't they? Which is basically the same thing. Taiwan black, anything grey blackish that will do for a cockpit, and it looks sort of dusty, grimy type as well. So it's not a flat black. So yeah. So
Ted, I'm sweating, Ted.
No, please don't take the shirt off. Please
no,
don't
keep the shirt on. Don't worry about
that. Right. Let's go and have a look about what's in store, shall we?
Yes.
Right.
Do you want to lock it onto you so it's not locked onto me?
Yeah, we'll do that. And then I choose screen share. And share screen. Ooh, we go backwards. All right, we've already looked at that one, so we'll get rid of that. And what's new arrivals for the scale model enthusiast? Well, back in stock. Hey, there's a nice little Hobby Boss one third scale mortar there. That would be cool. That. Oh, sorry. I'm getting waylaid that. Right, back in stock is the Hobby Zone stuff. Remember we spoke about this?
Awesome sauce.
Yeah, we spoke about this the week, but it's all now back in stock. It was you guys that mentioned it and said you were interested in it, and I think Gav happened to be in the chat that night.
Gavmate was in the chat and said, "Right, we'll get some."
Yeah, we'll get some, and they did.
The power of democracy is that you ask and they deliver.
Yeah. So there it is. Workshop stuff. Yes, Adam, workshop stuff. Yes, get in there.
Yes.
That's quite a good one. Hobby's own corner bottles module.
I've got one of those. Got one of those. It's in there in the corner.
Those.
You can't see it because I'm minimised, but it's over there in the corner, and it's a mile away.
And look, it fits all sorts of sizes. That looks like a can from an automotive store.
Yeah, that could be from a store that I won't mention the name of, but yes.
Yeah, but it fits all them size bottles as well. But
yeah, mine's got at the moment. Mine's got cans of Ultimate Primer. It's got some MIG stuff. It's got a little glass with brushes in, little pots, all kinds of bits on mine. My glues and decal solutions. They're all on there. It's just a nice little corner unit to break up the drawers and everything, where there's bits I can't put anywhere else, basically.
Yeah, and so if you're designing a man cave, a work zone, or anything like that, they're not badly priced either. That you can build them up one at a time. We spoke about before. Not everybody has wads of cash. I certainly don't, because the kids have spent it all.
They're more than worth it, because, like I say, they are good quality MDF, and I don't know what the thin wood is. You have to build them yourself, but just get yourself a little thing of Gorilla Glue, little tiny bottle of Gorilla Glue. It lasts for ages. They go together. I mean, I'm an idiot, and I have no practical skills whatsoever. I have no woodworking skills. I didn't even know how to use wood. I'm like, I don't know, slap it on.
Yeah, just slap it on and do it together.
Yeah, and then yet I was able to build all these in the course of an evening. Well, a day, because I was an idiot and took a while because I didn't know what I was doing. But the best bit is, it comes with magnets, so that each unit will lock together and stay in place. And you have so many left over at the end. I've got a big stick of magnets, and I can use that in model making. But just make sure you get the magnets the right way up, because I made that mistake. You have to hammer them in place, and then if it's the wrong way up, then you get units that repel each other at great speed. And
you get drawers that suddenly shoot out and open of their own accord. Very mysteriously, the workshop's haunted by drawers opening of their own accord.
But the way it works is that you're on the bottom of each unit, like that one you've got there, you'll have 1 inch corner little hole for a magnet. You don't need to put all 4 in. You can put 2 magnets in, 1 in alternative corners, and you've got 2 magnets left over. What could you possibly use magnets for in model making? All the things. That's what you could use it for.
All the things, yeah. Adam says, please keep them in stock till the end of the month when he gets his paycheck. Yeah, we're halfway through the month. It's not that far off.
Yeah.
But if the guys at eModels do sell out, they'll be getting them back. They'll get them back. Get them back. Right, so have we cleared everything on there? Have we done all them? There's loads of them. Just go on to emodels.co.uk and have a look. I'm really interested in that Hobby Boss 1/3 mortar. Yeah.
Is it floating about for you?
Next one. What do we see on here? I forgot what we saw now. Oh, never mind. This one, Sparmax. Oh, this is what we talked about before. Airbrushes. I said we were going to have a look at some airbrushes.
Trigger reaction.
Sparmax 35 pistol trigger airbrush. Now, unfortunately, for some reason, these are side fed, which is rather strange, but never mind. Hey ho. And as you already saw, Fox has the. Is yours the Sparmax?
No, mine's a Neo through water.
That I was getting confused because there was a trigger that
on the little screen at the bottom. You can see that's the one. If I remember rightly, though, I could be wrong here, but if I remember rightly, aren't Sparmax made in the same factory as Neo? So they're very similar. They're basically very similar.
Yeah, I think a lot of these things are sort of all built
share
on
the engineering.
Yeah, share the engineering, put them in different boxes.
If I look at it with all my eyes on my face, it's not too dissimilar. I think it is Sparmax that actually share airbrush designs with Iwata. I think.
Yeah, but we mentioned about the price before. You need to save up a little bit for 80 quid. That's not much more expensive than these Chinese things you find on eBay.
Does it mention anything about solvent safe on there, Ted?
Let's have a look. There's a description. Ergonomic piece with solvent replacement internal PTFE solvent proof needle.
There you go.
Yep. So packing for use with solvent-based paints. Yep.
So solvent safe.
Solvent safe.
You can whap your isopropyl alcohol through that, no problem. 2
metal cups, 7mm and 15mm, dual action airbrush. And I think they also do a different size. Did we see a different size one before? This is the 35.
There's a 3.5 and a 5mm. They're both 81 quid. They're both exactly the same price. Making Model says looks very similar to the Neo one. That's what I was saying before. I think it's Sparmax who actually share the same manufacturer as Iwata, and they actually share the same manufacturing process knowingly of each other. So I think it's Sparmax where some of the brushes are basically exactly the same as the Iwata ones. Although the grip on the handle is a bit different, but it does look very similar. It's probably, I could be completely wrong, but if I remember correctly, it's the same manufacturer and they share the designs. They're just kind of relabeled. So it's probably very, very similar to a Neo, I would say.
Right.
Adam says, sweet. Okay, the next 2 checks, Pete lol. So that's his next 2 paychecks that Adam's looking at. Yeah.
Right, sorry, I'm just typing a message. I think we have a bit of a surprise coming up.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
Right.
Yes, the only thing I noticed about that is a side feed cut, which is absolutely fine. It's just a bit more difficult to clean out than a gravity fed, but it's still absolutely fine. And you can't really balk at the price. If people are wondering about trigger brushes, because again, a lot of people know about trigger brushes. Like if I keep taking mine off the thing so I can show you.
We can't see you just at the moment.
Yeah,
Fox walked out, so we'll come back to you in a moment. Yeah, we'll come back to the airbrush in a minute.
Okay.
Well, we'll move on and have a look about what's in store, because we can always move on. One of the things I did find, really thought, wow, they've got them in stock. They've got these. Sweet. Sweet, look at that. Chibi ships. Brilliant. This is the USS Lexington cartoon ship. It's by Meng, and it's got bags of detail.
It's Meng, not Meng.
Meng.
Apparently.
Yeah. So that's
There's little tiny egg planes as well.
Yeah, there's egg planes, and apparently it lifts off. The hanger lifts off, so you can see inside and everything. Brilliant. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah. I thought I must get myself one of these, and it wasn't until I came tonight and I got them back on the screen. I thought, I did say I was going to order one. I never got around to doing it. So, Pete, mate, Pete and Gav, mate, if you are watching, I do have the order coming in for one. And the next one is another warship. It's the Japanese battleship Mikasa. Now, Fox pointed this out, not knowing anything about it.
I said, let's do a battleship.
Let's do a battleship. That looks nice. That looks like the Mikasa. This is a trumpeter. Brilliant kit, as you've seen from the submarine that we're doing now. Bags of detail in that. The Mikasa. The Mikasa was actually built by Vickers Armstrong here in my hometown of Barrow-in-Furness.
So it's a proper British-built warship.
It's a proper British.
How bizarre is that?
Of the Dreadnought. I think it's. I'm not sure if this is pre-Dreadnought. You must forgive me, although it's been built in my time. In my town, it's.
Built in your time. How old are you?
Built in my time. Yeah, I'm that old. I'm really a bit of a loss. Just history of it off my head. I think it's about the Dreadnought era. Built by Vickers Armstrong. As I said, for the Japanese Navy, and now it's an iconic warship in Japan. It's actually in preservation, and it's to Japan like HMS Victory is to us here in the UK. And we actually still have Japanese tourists that come to Barrow just to get the picture taken at the shipyard. And there's also a street named Mikasa Street. So quite an iconic battleship.
Yeah, Mr. Loth says it's still on display in Japan.
Yeah, it is. I understand that it's encased in concrete. The hull is now full of concrete. It's sunk in concrete to its waterline. But the top sides and everything else is still able to go and visit and go and see it.
Tony Black says the Japanese Navy was originally British. The ships they built afterwards were based on them. And TK said Ted was built in 1853, but that's a secret.
It's these grey hairs that give it away. Just make grey hair.
Johnny All Night wants to know if you're ironclad. Ted.
I'm ironclad. Yeah.
Top Gunner's curry involved.
Yeah, so that's the Japanese battleship Naikase from the Japanese Imperial Navy. And if you Google it, you'll find lots of pictures of it being built because it was quite photographed at its time. Yeah, so that's that one. What we got now? Hobby Boss. One for TK and the rest of you aircraft fans. The Hobby Boss 148 SU 300 flanker aircraft TK. I haven't heard bad reports about Hobby Boss.
I see them. I see when I watch video of things like the Shizuoka hobby shows and things. You often see it's not with Gunpla and Gundam, but there's always a section about the AFE and the aircraft and stuff. And Hobby Boss are usually quite nicely mentioned at the Shizuoka hobby show. They do seem to be pretty good quality. I've never built one, so don't take my word as gospel. But I've heard good things about Hobby Boss planes.
Yeah. Just looking through, the colour call-outs. I believe there is actually, I think AK Interactive actually do a paint set for this. You can actually buy a complete paint set for the naval version and the land version. So save something.
Land plane, Ted. Is this a new thing? A land plane?
Land plane.
Is that what we call a car or a tank?
The missiles. Hobby Boss. Haven't they something to do with AFE as well? I think
so. Hobby Boss R8 says Northwest Modeler.
Yeah, I think it's the same company.
Mr. Lowe said they make the Oshkosh tank transport, Ted, that the British Army uses. It's 200 quid though.
Right.
Not the real one. The real one's not 200 quid. That's probably a lot more than £200.
Yeah,
but the real one, not the model one.
I could sell you one for 200 quid. Yeah, I'll find you one. I'll go find you one.
Arbor Dragon says, I thought we were doing figures tonight. Yeah, we're going to, but then we found a load of other awesome stuff.
Oh, there's
some figures.
Yeah, we've got a figure.
We've got some figures.
We have to throw one in. It is a family show.
Look at the figure on that. There you go.
Look at the figure on that. Yeah, look how red and sort of, look how that seam line goes right down there. Oh, there's a woman in it as well. Figures. Catch me, Claire. Catch me if you can. I'm Masterbox 124th Dangerous Curves. Claire, catch me if you can. So there she is. For you guys or ladies.
Yeah.
If you fancy.
I'm sure Chandra could do something interesting with that.
Yeah. To go along with your car
scale cars.
Yeah.
I'm sure Chandra could quite nicely combine that with a bear guy somehow.
Yeah. I know we have seen some more explicit sort of figures and things like that, but these are quite tastefully done. Wouldn't look out of place on your office desk.
I think they look kind of weird if it's on your office desk.
Yeah.
Look, especially if you're not the boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but it's something I'd never thought of before. Is because you get 1/24th is the standard scale for car kits. And you often get a car kit, and a lot of times you don't even get a figure in the driver's seat. So I think the idea of having a figure that's kind of just there as eye candy to be with the car, like it's at a show or something, is kind of an interesting idea. I mean, obviously it's kind of done as eye candy as well. It's a bit tongue in cheek, but it's an interesting idea because you could use the figure for anything. It doesn't have to go in the car, but it's nice that they're doing these kind of funny little figures that go with the scale of cars. So if you're making a nice shiny sports car, why not make it look like it's in a showroom or at a car show, or it's got the dolly bird there and that kind of stuff. Interesting idea.
And it looks like Claire's paused as well, so you can actually put her inside your car, just stepping out the car.
Yeah, and they look like really nice sculpts. Looking at the shots there, they look like really nice sculpts. Good for your flesh tones there, Ted.
Yep. So you can practice your flesh tones on them. Just slap it on.
Slap it on.
Slap it on. Right, we'll stop sharing.
Yeah.
I'll come back to you. And
there you are. You're very blurry there, Ted.
But you see, it's the camera, and when it comes off.
Your camera gets grumpy when it's not the focus of attention and when it's being screen shared and it's not.
Yeah.
I'm going out of focus. I'm going out of focus.
I'm going out for it. That's it. I'm not doing anything else. Yeah.
Not looking at me. I'm not working.
Yeah. So I have.
Can I go back and just do a quick airbrush thing?
Yes. Do your airbrush while I go and sort something out.
Yes. Yes, the airbrush we were looking at earlier on was a side feed, and Adam was asking about the difference between a side feed and a gravity feed. The trick with airbrushes is there's three types. There's suction. There's a siphon feed, which is the bottle underneath. The side feed, which is at the side, so it's the least imaginatively named one, where the cup goes here, and there's gravity feed where the cup is on top. Now, of the three, siphon feed with the bottle on the bottom is the worst possible thing in the world. Just don't even, horrible. They require a very high pressure to suck the paint up. The gravity feed are great because they're designed for low pressure use, so you can have a low pressure going through the air compressor through the airbrush. Suction feed, you need higher suction to get the paint up through a tube into the airbrush. And if you're just starting out and you're using rattle cans of air, which is absolutely fine, you'll find that side feed and gravity feed are best, because rattle cans, they may pull the paint up at first, but as the pressure in the can drops as you use it, it'll get less and less, and you'll get less and less paint going through. Plus, siphon feed are a real pain in the bum to clean up. So if you get an airbrush, try not to go for siphon feed. They're more hassle than they're worth, and they'll put you off airbrushing for life. If you're just learning, they're so hard to clean up. It's just not worth it. So gravity feed and side feed. Gravity feed are by far the best, because gravity does all the hard work for you. Air goes through the airbrush, goes like that, and gravity just pulls the paint down and the paint comes out, and you pull the needle back and that controls how much paint comes out. So gravity feed does all the work for you. Side feed is absolutely fine. It can work. It needs a little bit more of a higher pressure to work at than, say, this. Now, the Neo I've got here is designed for low pressure, so I can run this at 7 psi and it'll pull paint through. Side feed, you might not be able to work at quite so low pressures, but for most everyday use, they're absolutely fine. You won't notice a difference. You can still pull your paint through at 15, 20 psi like normal. The only real difference is, and it's just my personal opinion, side feed can be a bit more fiddly to clean out. Just because you've got to take the cup off and get it off, and you've got to get your cleaning tool in there, and you can never quite get all the paint out from the tube without a bit more hassle. So it doesn't really matter if you go for side feed or gravity feed. Gravity feed has the edge because gravity's doing some of the hard work for you, so you can work at lower pressures. Side feed works absolutely fine. It's just a bit more of a faff to clean, to get it fully clean. If you're doing a paint change, a little bit more of a faff, but it's not, for most people, it's absolutely fine. It's like that much of importance of difference. So, but those ones that we show in the store earlier on, they're side feeds, the cups at the side, but absolutely fine, absolutely fine. So you just get a little bit of an advantage with gravity with the gravity fed, but for everyday stuff, it's absolutely fine. There you go. That's it. That's my bit done.
Cool. Thank you very much for that.
Yes.
Thank you for an insight.
I'm still sweating, Ted.
I find that if I point at this, it comes back into focus. There we go.
Oh, yeah, but then you're pointing at the internet.
Yeah,
You're poking the internet in the eye.
Your country needs you.
What if I point? Does your camera go into focus?
Yeah.
My finger looks like about 18 feet long. It's really weird.
It's one of those 3D films. Ow!
Oh, Carl says, Foxy being able to get the trigger innards out of that brush I tried, but it was way too tight. Basically, no, because I don't have the cojones to do that. I will take the bits off that I can get off to clean it. I'm never going to try and take the actual innards assembly apart, because if I do, you remember that moment when you first get an airbrush and the first time you clean it and the trigger pops out, like on a normal airbrush, the trigger pops out and you panic because you think you've broken it. You haven't, you just don't know what you're doing. Yeah, that's why I'm never taking that out.
Yeah,
to break it. I have no idea how all the trigger stuff goes in, and the screws and the tightening, and I'm not technically minded.
Did you get that heart-stopping moment when you got in your airbrush and you took it apart for the first time and everything fell apart? And you think,
yeah, and you're like, oh, well, it's like I said a minute ago, when you first clean an airbrush the first time ever, and the trigger falls out, and you're like, and you don't know what to do, and you panic, and you have to go on the internet, and you're like sweating cobs, like I am now, right now, because it's 1,000,000 degrees. And you're like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. And then you figure it out and you're like, oh, I just put the trigger back in. Because I guarantee everybody who buys an airbrush for the first time, every single time, they'll have that moment where the trigger comes out and they panic. It's a universal truth with airbrushes.
Yeah. Or you stab yourself in the finger with a needle.
Oh, and the leg with a modelling knife. I've got to tell you though, I've stabbed myself in the leg with a modelling knife many, many times. I have to say more than once. Nothing quite comes anywhere near stabbing yourself with an airbrush needle, because that goes through to the bone, If you stab yourself with this finger, it'll go through to the bone in that finger. Even if your finger's that, it'll just go through. It hurts like hell. So yeah, don't. Plus it costs you then £7 for a new needle, which sucks even more. Adam says, question, is that one of the eModels a single action or double action? This is a double action, although it sounds weird. That's what I meant to talk about. Triggers. A lot of people didn't even know you can get trigger airbrushes. There's two types. There's button on the top, where you push down for air and pull back for paint. And there's trigger brushes, where what happens with this is, it's double action. You pull back a little bit, and you get just air. But you can feel the trigger stops there. The trigger just naturally stops. If you continue to pull it back, that's when your paint starts to come out, because that's when it pulls the needle back. So it's double action, air, and then paint. So I personally find these easier to use because I can hold it like that, use my middle finger to control the trigger. I find it personally easier to control how much paint I'm putting through. If I want a certain amount of paint, it's got the trigger stop on the back, but if I'm spraying and I think, right, that's about the right amount of paint, I can just stop my finger pulling back. I can hold my hand in that position and it will stay there. What I find is on a button brush, apart from the fact I have funky fingers, so I get cramps and pain if I use a button trigger for more than half an hour. If you're pulling back for paint and you get just the right amount of paint coming through, it's really hard to keep your hand on that trigger without it moving backwards and forwards and getting it. And again, if you've got a trigger lock, it's fine, but I just find this is much better for controlling how much you're putting through. But like I said, I've got funky fingers. I can't bend the end of my fingers. And if I use a button airbrush for more than half an hour, I'm in pain. I've got cramps. I've got sore fingers. My arm hurts. This thing, I've sprayed with this for an hour and a half non-stop, and it's just not uncomfortable at all. So if you've got any kind of issues with your hand, if you've got say any form of arthritis, if you've got weak hands for any reason, if you've got perhaps say a palsy in your hand and it's not got a strong grip, if you've had an injury to your hand and maybe your grip is not so great, or you can't grip your hand for a long time without pain, try out, it might be worth having a look at trigger airbrush, because if you've got any kind of disability or discomfort with your hand or anything like that, you might find a trigger brush a lot more comfortable, because that is not a natural position for your hand to do that. It's just like, looks like some kind of like really angry swan or something, but that you can rest your finger on there to hold it in place. You can have your middle finger on the trigger like that. Perfect. If you want to, you can use that finger, but I vary it. So I usually put a finger on here to stabilize the airbrush, and then I can just do that with the airbrush when I'm spraying. If I'm doing this with an airbrush, I'm kind of like, it's not really comfortable, and you've got the weight of the air, it's just not comfortable. I find these perfect. So if you do have any kind of issues with your hand or grip, consider a trigger brush. Not every brand does them. Harder and Steenbeck, I don't think, do any trigger brushes. Not every brand does them, and some brands don't do them, but you can get kits to adapt an airbrush to a trigger. So have a look. Adam says he gets cramps after about 15 minutes when using his cheap double action. You want a trigger. If you get any kind of cramps using that button, it doesn't matter what airbrush you'll get cramps using a button, because it's like using, think of it this way, when you use your computer, use a mouse and your hand's like that, that's not natural. When I use a computer, I use my graphics tablet and I have a pen and my hand is like that. And that is a much more relaxed position for my hand when I'm using a computer than using a mouse, which is like that. So when I use my computer, I use a pen, not a mouse. Similar principle. Your hand is just more relaxed like that than like that on a normal brush. So give it a try. Not everybody knows about trigger brushes. They're really worth looking into. They can be a bit more expensive. This is a little bit more expensive than the standard button Neo, but only about 10 quid. It's more than worth it. If you have any kind of disability in your hand or anything like that, limited movement, pain, arthritis, anything like that, and you're normally in discomfort with airbrushes and it puts you off, have a go at a trigger brush. If you've not got any, if you don't want to go and buy one, next time you go to a model show, there'll probably be somebody there selling airbrushes. They can probably let you have a go of one, have a handle of one, because it really is worth it. Ted's doing that again.
I'm just trying to do it again, but it didn't work this time.
3D. What you pay your 3D money for? Anybody watching this on 3D TV will be like, wow, that's really crap 3D. Adam now says, great, that's now 3 paychecks he's got to spend.
Yeah, we can spend all your money.
Ted, have you still got those tabs open for the airbrushes?
Yeah, I can. No, I haven't. I closed it, but I can show
Okay, well,
you.
that's right. I'll go and have a look. You do your next bit. I'll go and have a look and see if they. I think they were double action. I'd be surprised if they were single action for 80 quid. Let's have a look.
Airbrush.
I'll have a look.
The thing is, you put Airbrush into eModels and you get loads of them. They've got the
I've
Neo
got it.
ones.
It's right on the front page.
Right.
You carry on, and I'll have a look and see if they're double or single action.
Right. Right.
I've just checked. They're dual action.
Dual action.
How quick was that? Yes, I thought they would be.
Right. I have had some exciting news, folks. I have had a message.
Telling me off again. I know, Pete.
He said if Fox doesn't put his jacket on, there'll be. You'll need to report to him in the morning.
No, you're making this up now, aren't you, Ted?
Right. Shall we have a giveaway?
I think we shall. And shall we?
We shall have a giveaway.
Should we work our way up? If you know what I mean.
We can't wait up. Should we do a T-shirt first, or should we do a mug first?
Let's do a mug first, because the mug's a nice and simple one, and then T-shirt's a bit more classy, and then we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah, right. This could be a fastest finger. Google fastest finger.
I've got nothing left in my cup. Look, I just have to pretend like I'm on TV.
I have to
watch any drama series where they take a swig. They're just gonna go, "Yeah, I'm drinking a drink now," because there's nothing in the cup.
Right.
Have you got a question for this, Ted?
I have. I've just been looking it up actually.
Okay.
We spoke before about the Mikasa, the Japanese battleship Mikasa.
Urusenkan Mikasa.
Oh, Mikasa! I said it's an iconic ship visited by millions in Japan. But what town is it located in Japan? Go.
I've got no idea about this, so it's up to you to say when it happens.
Yeah. Right. Let's see who can either know it or can Google it fastest. It's not in Kent. Says Wattington.
Rhodey says Hawasaka. Chris Williams says Staines massive. Staines massive in it. Staines massive in it.
Yeah, no, it's not Tokyo.
Fuji, Tokyo,
no.
Osaka.
Yeah, at least who Becky says he's honest and he doesn't know.
I know, but I've already got a mock. Says Chris, nice one.
Right, there's Chris Henderson. Chris Henderson must have been the fastest finger.
Do you want me to screen share that? Because I've got a.
Yeah, if you can screen share it. And I'll just
hang on, text is the chat's moving too fast. Let me screen share.
Right, Chris Henderson has won.
Okay, I'm screen sharing now. Apparently, am you seeing my screen?
Yeah, I'll freeze it on you.
There you go. So there we have Fuji Tokyo in our Kacho. I don't know, Osaka. Already got a mug, and then Yokosuka from Chris Henderson.
Yokosuka. Yeah, that's him.
As we always say with these, it's the first one we see. On our screens, because our screens will be different to your screens, because your screens have priority to your comments, whereas our screens are literally the order they come into us. So
and remember the terms and conditions. If you are an eModels winner tonight with the mug, we do need a picture of you with the mug or the mug.
Doing like this.
Yeah,
doing a proper Will Wheaton face.
Yeah. So
Ted, I don't know who that is.
Send us. Right. So send me your address, Ted at eModels.co.uk, and we'll see that we'll get the winning mug sent off to you. Well done, that man. Well done. Right. That was good, wasn't it? Now I've got to think of another question now for a T-shirt.
Unless I can think of one.
Can you think of one?
I've got to think of one now. I'm stumped, Ted.
Yeah, we'll think of one in a minute. I'll think of one in a minute. Yeah. But now we do have. Should we go right to the top?
I've got a question.
Oh, go on.
To see how well people are paying attention. This is to win a T-shirt. I said there were 3 types of airbrush. There's gravity feed, there's side feed, and there's what's the third one? Gravity feed, side feed, and what was the one I just? What was the one? What was it called? The one that
who was listening and who's the best guess?
Yeah, no, not double action,
not suction, not siphon.
Yeah, actually, I'll give it to Gatso75. He's put siphon.
Yeah.
It is a siphon feed. Gatso75. Let me share again for you. We'd like to show.
Yeah.
Let me know when you see my thing.
There we go. There we go.
There we
Stuck
go.
on you.
Yeah, Gatso75 put siphon, and yes, it's
Well done, Gatso75.
siphon feed. There we go.
There we
Bottom
go.
feed, says Rhodey.
Yeah.
You're
so
a bottom feeder. Right, how do I stop? How do I stop screen sharing? I'll go away screen share. There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so once again, send your address to ted@emodels.co.uk, and this time put t-shirt and the size, please. We have from large to XXL, I think. But if we haven't got your size, we'll give you the next size up, so you can always shrink it in the wash.
We have large, extra large, extra large, and true American Patriot, I think, in the 4 sizes we have.
2 giveaways in 2 minutes. That's brilliant. We're doing well.
Yeah.
Now there could be a third one. It might not for 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes yet. Let you calm down after the excitement after that.
Yeah, stay tuned. Don't go anywhere yet. Don't go anywhere yet.
Over there, yeah.
It's not over till the fat lady sings and I stop sweating. I'm sweating. Did Pete really tell me off, or was that you just messing?
No, it's just messing.
I thought I was in trouble and everything. Pete's really rolling around laughing.
Oh, how he will be laughing at home now.
Oh yes, he'll be there with his. I don't know.
Chris Henderson, I've got your email. Thank you very much. I will deal with that later on. We'll sort it out afterwards. Yeah. Right. Hope we have a good night, and we can get back to some questions. Remember, there's a little bit of time left yet. We are sort of.
What time is it? What time are we on? We are on. No, it's only half 10. Hours, yes.
Yeah. So yeah. Don't say that. I've got work in the morning. Well,
I've got a question for the chat. How is my sound, by the way? I've got my new microphone, and I'm kind of riding my volume a bit because Google State Handout adjusts the volume on the fly, so it can go up and down. But how is my volume? Is it good? Is it too quiet? Is it too loud? Do I sound like I'm in a tube, or does it sound better? Because last time up until now it would have sounded bloody awful. Let's just be honest.
It's sounding all right to me.
Cool. Everybody says sounds good. Brilliant, Fox. Volume is fine. Cheers, guys. Because I've no way to know unless I actually watch it back, or I'd ask you guys. I'm not going to watch myself on telly. So,
Ron Mack has come with a question about masking. About masking canopies.
Ask the questions. Ask
the question. Yeah. Can you tell us how to mask canopies? Just as simple as that. Yeah.
Do you want this one, Ted?
Yeah, I'll have a go at this one, and you could jump in if you think I'm going to. I picked up a little tip for masking canopies. Now, I might by chance
someone else to do it.
I might by chance have a canopy here to mask. It's from Skylar's little egg playing kit, what we brought home from eModels. And she has here a little canopy in here. And I also have, pull a bit here for now, I also have somewhere some to be a masking tape.
I know what you're going to do. I know what you're going to do.
And we also have an iPhone. Do you know what we're going to do? It's a little tip I picked up. If I can find my iPhone.
Okay, I don't know what you're going to do now.
If I can get my iPhone to work. Oh, why do you press buttons and things never work? Right. Masking. I try not to mess this up because Skylar's going to build it. So we have a canopy here, and we need to mask it off because it's got lots of rails and things around it, and you might want to mask off the frame. The secret is to get your to-be masking tape, take it off, and tape it on to the piece that you want to mask off, and then rub it down and burnish it in.
A bit. We're just off camera there.
Yep. Put it on and burnish it in. Really get it burnished in, and then taking a scalpel with a new scalpel blade, not one you've used before, but a new scalpel blade, and you want to cut to the frame in here. A tip I found out is to get your iPhone with the light on, dazzle, and put your canopy on top, and that, you can't probably see it, but that will highlight the framework for you to cut around on. It's as simple as that, really.
Brilliant. The only thing I'd add to that is if you're really lucky, your canopy is less wide than, say, the thick Tamiya tape. If you've got the thick 18mm Tamiya tape and your canopy is less wide than that, you can cover the canopy in one piece of tape. The only thing I'd add to that is when you've got your clear piece, I haven't got a clear piece here, but what I tend to do is exactly the same as Ted. Get your canopy, cover it in a piece of tape, as few pieces as possible. But before you go in with the knife, around, say you've got a canopy here, and there's a panel, there's like a ridge here, and this is clear glass, and this is that you want to mask off. What you want to do is cut along this line. So what I find you can do is just get yourself a cocktail stick and just burnish it into the corner a little bit more before you go in with the knife. That'll do two things. One, it'll just really squish it into the corner, but it'll also break the back of the paper. It'll break the fiber, so that when you do take a knife in there, very, very lightly, almost no pressure, and take it in and just draw it along, it's almost like you're scoring the tape. It will have a lot easier job of cutting through the tape and give you a nice crisp line. You might have to do it a couple of times, but Ted's exactly right. Basically, get it on. A lot of people will cut bits of tape out and jam them onto the canopy to go around the edge. It's easier. Just literally cover the piece in tape and then cut the tape away that you don't want, because you've got this nice crisp edge where there's a piece of framing and a piece of clear canopy. Use it to your advantage. I do show a little bit of it in the Eagle build, the next episode that's not up yet.
Ron Mac asks, can you use Maskell? Yes, you can use Maskell, but I wouldn't do it around the edges. I wouldn't do it right up to the edge. I would cover everything in tape, burnish it into the frame where you want to cut, and then use the Maskell just to cover the bits that you're going on. You're not going anywhere near. But no, yeah. I wouldn't. Yeah,
it is. I mean, the way Ted shows it there. Whether or not you use the torch ID, it is the easiest way to do it. And I say the alternatives are, a lot of people will say you've got a window here and there's a frame around the window. A lot of people will cut out little bits of tape and start putting it on the clear piece around the frame. There's no point. Just cover the whole thing in tape and then cut out the shape you want and take the excess off. That's the easiest way to do it. Some people use adhesive metal foil as well sometimes.
Yeah, there are also purpose-made masking kits out there. I think you do them as well. But once again, as Fox said, it's like it must be a pain just to try and stick them on, get them on straight and in line. Yeah, so I'd go that way. Just I know it's a simple, quick way we're showing you, but that's the way we do.
I mean, it's the way it's been done for a long time, and it's just the easiest way. It depends on the kit. I mean, some kits will have such tiny windows that it's going to be a living hell to do it. You're making a 1/72 scale B52 or Lancaster. Hey, good luck with that. It's just the easiest way. You can get third-party masking kits, but why pay £3 or £4 for a masking kit when you could just use a bit of tape? It's just as easy. Maskell I wouldn't ever use, because Maskell won't give you a nice crisp clear edge. And at the end of the day, depending on the clear part, if you do mess up and you get some paint under the masking tape, or you get paint on the bit where you don't want it, you can either, if you've used something like a Tamiya paint or a water-based paint, you should be able to just very gently scrape it off with your fingernail, because it's stuck on clear plastic so it won't grip. But if it does go everywhere and you need to clean it up a little bit, there is a product called Carson's Paint Killer, which you can't actually get in the UK, I don't think. But if you can get some, it's like liquid. It's just a neat bottle of xylene. It will take the paint off without damaging the clear part. You should be fine.
Yeah, Ron asks, how do we get the tape off if it's too sticky? Tamiya tape doesn't usually have that problem. If you tried,
Tamiya tape would be fine.
Yeah, Tamiya tape's usually fine. If you try using ordinary household decorators masking tape, you could have a problem.
No, never use that. Always use something like Tamiya masking tape. It's the perfect level of tape. I in the past have sprayed a layer of acrylic paint. I've used, I think it was ammo paint, sprayed on some ammo paint on a piece, dried it with a hairdryer, masked over it, sprayed more on, taken the tape off, and it hasn't pulled any paint off. Tamiya tape won't. And if you really don't want it to stick, you can even just dab it on your trousers once and then put it on the kit. But Tamiya tape's very low tack. It's tacky enough that it will stick in place and protect the surface underneath, but it's not necessarily going to, as long as you primed it, it's not going to pull paint off the surface, or very rarely will do that.
Yeah, Chris has asked a question was along the same lines. Do you need to prime canopies?
No, you can't. No. Well, if you can, if you mask off, when you've masked it off, because this is what I'm going to do on the Eagle. You can't really see on here, but you won't really see it. But on the Eagle window here, there's a little tiny gap at the side and the bottom here. I can't really show you on camera, it's not going to come out, but the tape doesn't go right down to the bottom because there's a little tiny window frame. You can't really see it, I suppose. There's a little tiny bit of window frame here and here. So I used exactly the technique Ted used, and when I get to paint this, I'm going to prime it again, so that little bit of the window will get primed, and then it'll get painted over. You don't need to prime it, but I would say whatever color you're going to paint it, if it's say an aircraft, whatever color you're going to paint the frame, let's say your aircraft is green, you want to paint the frame green, paint it a dark color underneath first for two reasons. One, it's a clear piece, so if you just do a coat of normal paint, it might be a bit translucent. You'll see light shining through it if you look at it against the light. The other reason is if you go and look at an aircraft, the inside of the canopy frame is not normally the same color as the outside. It's normally a dark gray or a black, because it's just not got the same, it's not got the exterior paint on it. It's usually black on the inside or green. So if you want the inside of the canopy to look painted, paint it black first or a dark color, and then paint your aircraft color on top. And that way, when you take all the tape off, you've got this beautiful, let's say, green canopy frame on the outside. But when you look through the canopy into the cockpit and you can see the inside of the canopy frame, it's a different color. Because you could, instead of masking it off twice, just paint it the inside color first and then paint it the outside color. It's all about thinking tactically with a clear piece.
You've got to think negative.
Well, Beyond Hope says problem with priming the canopies is you will see the primer color on the inside of the frame, unless that's the color you want. Like I say, look inside the actual aircraft canopy. Sometimes they are a darker color, like a black or a, I mean, I'm no expert, but they're not always the same color as the outside of the canopy frame. So use it to your advantage.
Yep, so that's that one. Yep, so yeah.
TK's model says the inside of a canopy is usually, and Fox just said all that. Mark McDonald asked if I'm going to get the photo etch kit for the Eagle. No, because it's not my build. It's a build free model. So
yeah,
it's not my own personal build.
I think you have been provided with some extra bits and pieces to it to make it springy. And
I've been sent some replacement springs as a gift from a follower, and I've been sent some other bits and bobs. I've been sent the lighting kit again as a gift from a follower. Because it's not my own personal build, I'm just doing it as a straight out of the box, what you get in the box.
Yeah, it's what we try. We do little bit extras and things like that, but we do like to sort of show you about the box so that you can sort of see the basics and then carry it on to what you want to do. And but we enjoy doing it. Question: why does my ab to lung odorless thinner smell of thinners?
Yes, it has. It does have a slight smell. It does have a slight smell. Odorless thinners do have. They're not like stealth thinners that don't smell.
Yeah, I think it's just. I think they just mean that they don't fill the workshop with fumes.
Yes, if you put it next, I'll tell you what. You know, I mentioned earlier about standard thinners in body shops. You go into any body shop and they'll have all the water-based and solvent-based paints, and they'll have a big 5-litre drum, at least, of standard thinners, usually U-Pol or 3M. And you kind of get used to using them. But when you're in a body shop and you're using those things, you've always got a mask on. You never smell them. One day I was at work and we used them to clean out the proper industrial spray guns. These 3-inch thick needles. And I brought some home because I thought it might be useful to clean out my solvent-safe airbrush. Big mistake. You think lacquers paint smell bad? Don't use proper industrial solvents to clean airbrushes, because I opened the bottle. I came upstairs here. I opened the bottle, went, closed the bottle again, and took it outside. The entire house stank for an hour because that is proper industrial solvents. So if you've got a little bit of a smell coming from your odorless thinners, don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. But it was like I literally took it outside, and I had the bottle on my desk for about 2 years, and never, because I didn't dare open. I opened it for literally about 2 seconds. The whole house stank for about 2 hours.
Chris, the Orc Boys has come up with a good one. It's odorless, not no order.
Yeah. Odor less
order, not no order.
Ant says washi tape is okay, but the edges aren't as crisp as to me. I've actually got some washi tape. It's all in different colours. Can I find it? Yeah,
Usually pretty colours with hearts and flowers and things. And
there was a thing on the internet that said somebody's found this tape that's like, it's just as good as tomato tape. So of course I had to go and buy loads. So I'm not used to it yet.
Yeah,
I keep going out and buying tomato tape instead and forgetting.
Yeah, as Anne said, it's not as crisp. But once again, what I would do would use the tomato tape just right up until where you want the crisp line, and then use the washi tape just to fill in the rest of the gap.
Another handy masking tip, just while I remember, and nothing to do with canopies, but a lot of people say that they want to mask something off, but things like tomato tape and stuff isn't cheap. This is where you get clever. If you want to mask off, say, a big piece of a model, now I've got a load of 3M blue tape, again, kind of borrowed from the body shop. And this is what you use to mask off a car when you're painting it. If I put this on the model, it would take half the paint off. What you can do is, if you've got a big chunk of model you want to mask off, but you don't want to use yards and yards and yards of your nice expensive Tamiya tape, do your outline that you want to mask off, a couple of strips. Then you can go in with the heavy duty decorator's tape or 3M auto tape and a bit of paper or newspaper. And as long as you're only ever sticking the high sticky decorator's tape, whatever, to where the Tamiya tape is, your paint's not at risk. So when you're masking off, you don't have to cover the whole area in Tamiya tape or your expensive tape. You can use this stuff, but just make sure this is never stuck to actual paintwork. It only ever sticks to paper or to your Tamiya tape. Always have a couple of old newspapers on hand, because you can rip that off and use it to mask off. I had a model once, and let's say this was the model. I had the whole model masked off, and there was a little area here that I wanted to paint with a rattle can, so I had to mask off the whole thing. It was just a mass of newspaper and blue 3M tape. But wherever the blue 3M tape was used, it was only ever stuck down to the Tamiya tape, so that I could just pull the Tamiya tape off, the whole thing would come away, and nothing would pull the paint up. It's a handy tip.
Yeah, I like that bit of spray painting. It's like unwrapping Christmas presents. You peel it off and you see the final result.
It's one of those moments that you look forward to it, but you know it's going to be a yay or oh.
Yeah, I've got to do it all again.
It can go one of two ways.
Yeah, as the tape's bled underneath the tape. Yeah.
Oh, Will's in.
Hi, Will.
Hi, Will.
Hi, Will. Yep. Right, now Will's in. It's time for us to go. No, it's not.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, going. No,
I think it's that time, Ted.
Is it that time?
I think it's that time. I think it is.
That time. Right. Okay. I'll just check I've got the right page.
Do I need to get a little drum roll ready?
Dum, 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 dum,
I won't
dum,
actually do a drum roll on my desk, because that microphone, it'll deafen everybody.
Okay, right. Okay, everybody. Right, I've had good news.
Good news, everybody!
From news. I have the news.
Ted doesn't get that reference, but move on. Good news, everybody!
Explain to me after the show.
Yeah.
Right, I have had good news, and tonight there is going to be a good giveaway. I'm out of focus.
Focus,
focus. Oh, I'll come to focus on it.
Use the wiggle finger.
I tried it. Sometimes, see, it's done it now. Yeah, right. I've had good news. I've had news from above. I've had news from the press office that we can
from above.
That we can, doves from above. I saw that as well.
God, we don't have perambulate, do we? People are like, come on already.
Yeah, we're going to have a big giveaway tonight. We're going to have a kit giveaway. And it's courtesy of Pete at Pete from eModels. And I'm wearing these teeth in for the dog. I just haven't got
Peter eModels. I love that. That's his name now. It's Peter eModels.
Peter eModel. Yeah, we've had news from Pete, mate, that we can have a giveaway tonight. And I'll share the screen. I share the screen if I can. And tonight we are going to give away share. And tonight we are going to give away this.
Yay!
Oh, and a Meng model Warship builder Lexington cartoon ship. Woohoo! I'm going to enter this competition because I want to win one. Then I don't have to. Yeah, I don't have to put the order in.
Ted.
Oh,
we can't have the competition.
Right. Can we not enter the competition?
No, I love the fact it's got little eggplanes. That's so cool.
I think it's brilliant. Right. But tonight isn't an immediate giveaway. It's not one of
No.
these where you have to type in now, so you can relax, everybody. You can close Google down. We're not going to do that. What you need to do is, after the stream is finished tonight, you can go along to where the video is uploaded to on YouTube, eModels or eModels page on YouTube, and you need to type in
youtube.com/eModels UK.
That's them.
Basically, the channel you're watching it on now.
Yeah, so yes, if you're watching it on and you're chatting, you're already there. But you'll have to wait until the stream is finished and give it a few minutes after that, and then you can post comments. And we would like you to post comment tonight. Wow, thank you, Pete. That's the comment you have to put down to be eligible to enter this giveaway.
Yep.
So you have to type wow.
I'll
thank
put
you,
that in the
Pete.
chat just to make sure everybody's clear on that. Wow, thank you, Pete.
And then we will draw the prize winner and announce the winner next week.
Yep.
And we'll do it like that way. So that gives everybody a chance to have a go. Those that can't get into chat for one reason or another. Some people might not be able to get in on the live stream and might want to come along and catch you up later on. But yeah, it gives everybody a chance. So that's what you have to type. Pete, no, that's what you have to type.
Yep, our orders are you have to type wow, thank you, Pete.
Wow, thank you, Pete.
You can put thank you. I always put thank you as one word for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah. Thank you, or thank you, or thank you will do, and that's yeah. So you can be with a chance of winning the little chibi ship with all them little airplanes.
They're so cute. What we'll do is we looked at different ways to do these giveaways, but this is a way that means everybody can take part. People who don't watch this for the next couple of days, because some people don't get to watch this live. Some people watch these streams day or two later when they get a chance. So this means everybody has a chance. We'll announce the winner next week on next week's show. And then obviously we'll do this now for big giveaways like this. We'll do it this way because it means everybody gets a chance then.
Yeah, and the last time for entries, we'll draw this maybe Wednesday. Should we draw it on Wednesday?
We do it on Sunday. Do it on Sunday, or we do it either Sunday. Should we draw it Monday before the show? Because we could draw it before the show.
Yeah.
So if we say get your answer on there by by end of Sunday.
Well, let's give us a day just to get us together, us both together.
Okay.
So
if we say
Saturday evening.
Yeah, if we say by midnight Saturday, there you go. That gives us a chance. Midnight Saturday GMT. It's difficult because we've got GMT, but
they can only enter once.
Yep.
Yeah, only one entry. If you've got double entries, they may be charged but not counted, as they say on TV for phone-ins. So that's what you're going to do. Well, it's a different way of running the competition, and everybody can have a go at trying to win it. So that's what you're going to do, and you'll have to watch in next week to see if you're the winner. We'll announce it on the live stream.
It's the fairest way we could come up with, because we know that X number of people will watch this live, but there could be 4 times that many people that watch it after the show, so it's not fair to them. So when you try and put the comment on, don't panic if this live stream doesn't show up. It will show up. It can take about 5 or 10 minutes to kick up on the YouTube page, so just give it 5 or 10 minutes and then go in and do your comment. It will be either, if it's not on the front page, just go into videos and it'll be the latest video on the list, or it'll also be in the playlist for the live stream. It'll be on there, you'll find it.
Yeah, I think we've called this one Slap It On. Slap It On. Yeah,
Slap it on. I still don't know what that was, Ted, when you're doing that.
Slap It On.
Slap it on.
It's painted. Slap It On.
It's like we're stirring a big pot.
Yeah, so that's that. Yeah, so.
Oh, Ted always freezes on the worst possible screenshots.
Right. Well, any more questions?
I've noticed that when the screen freezes at your end, you're always going like that.
I can imagine. I think this Slap It On.
Slap it on. Frankie Goes to Hobbywood, who has the best name in the world, says, "Thank you for the show, guys. Bye bye." All right.
Yeah. Now we've given everything away. Everybody's going, which is
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, we're off now. Bye. 3 people left, and they're on mods.
Yeah, we're talking to ourselves now. I know the counter's going down now as everybody's leaving.
Yeah, right. Get the dancing girls out. We're ready now.
Right. Yeah. You never know what might happen right till the end. You've got to stay till the end till we say bye.
It's like a movie. You never know what happens until you've sat and watched after the credits, because more of the best stuff is usually. All the best stuff happens after we press the stop broadcasting button.
Yep. And then everybody sits there thinking, I never knew that would happen.
Yeah. Slap it on the eModels Boom Hut battle cry. Smooth Workshop says, I was so busy doing LEDs I forgot you were on. Boo. Well, you can watch it afterwards.
Oh.
Especially with that last giveaway. Watch it anytime. Hey, Smoot. Did I miss the sticker comp? You missed the mug and the t-shirt, but the giveaway for the little chibi U-boat, little chibi destroyer aircraft carrier is open to everybody. So what time? I don't know what time. About 5 minutes ago we announced it, but it's open to be drawn next week. So go back and watch the video when it goes up on the YouTube, and you can enter your answer. Was that a really bad answer? That? What was that? Were there actually any words of that? All I heard was your screen frozen. You went,
what is it Markham Wise said? I'm playing all the right notes, but not necessarily
in the right order. I'm in preview.
Yeah, so I've got all the right words, but they're not coming out in the right order.
Yes. You are Andrew Preview.
So right.
So we got 2 quotes now. One is slap it out, and one is
right.
PK.
Oh gosh, yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to. I'm taking texts all the time here. Yeah.
Tell people to leave you alone. You're working.
Oh right. Oh, my chat's disconnected now. Hold on.
Oh, was it? I've got it open. Tony Black says, "When's the Boom Hut on?" I always seem to miss it. That was last week. That was an after hours one, and it's as and when. Scott Sutherland says, I put something in the Boom Hut for Ted.
Oh, right. I'll have a look.
David Barker says, my goodness, I have to get up to work in 5 hours. Only if you go to sleep. You could stay awake and then you don't have to get up for work at all.
Yeah, you could download this and take it to work with you.
Yeah. Or you could just stay awake and then you're just going to work. There's no getting up involved. You might, fall asleep halfway through work and cause a horrendous industrial accident. It's not a problem. Question from Beyond Hope. Got some old Tamiya olive drab. Is it supposed to spray flat, but now it's glossy? Any suggestions? Shake it more.
Yeah,
shake it more and spray it thin. Tamiya paints are sort of more like alcohol-based lacquers than they are acrylics. So you have to stir them and stir them and stir them and stir them and get a little get something in there. See, my teeth have gone now. Get something in there. It's my fabulous.
Is that bumping in there to slap it on?
You have to get something to stir it with. Nothing. God, I can't talk. Get something to stir it like a metal stick. Give it a good old rummage for about 13 hours. And then when you spray it on, the beauty of Tamiya paints is you can carelessly slap it on, if you pardon the pun. I can't not say it now. You can carelessly spray Tamiya on. It's a lot more forgiving than something like Adiamo paints. But instead of just putting it on in one big thick coat, do it as very light mist coats and just build it up really slowly. That will help give you a matte finish as well, because it'll give you a rough coat and then another rough coat, another rough coat, rather than just going all at once. When it can, if you put a lot of paint on, it can flatten out and smooth out, and that's where you get the slight shine. So stir the living carp out of it and apply it in multiple very, very thin misty coats rather than maybe one or two thicker coats. Other than that, it could just be really, really old. You might not need to use it anymore. Although I've got Tamiya paints that are 20 years old and I still use them. So
yeah, I've got some they're a bit like humble paints. They never sort of go off. So
yeah.
Yeah, I still can't get into chat, unfortunately. It seems like my laptop has decided to disconnect itself from the internet, and it's telling me it's got a problem that can't be repaired automatically. So we'll have to wing it, I think.
How you repair it is you press the power button and then you turn it off.
Yeah, turn it off.
This isn't on your laptop, is it?
No, this is so because what happens, I have you lot up there where I'm streaming to, and then I have this lot down here where I'm chatting to. So I can see all the chat coming in here, or I can't now.
So I have all the chat over here, you see? All the chat's here, and the screen is here, and I'm here. Finger.
But yeah, we're about due to wrap up anyway. However, I've just got you to show you this. Ooh,
I don't know what this is now.
Right.
Google. I've never seen a Google before.
Ooh, look at that.
Don't forget to lock it on you, dude.
All right, I'll come back and lock it on me.
Lock it on.
Lock it on.
Wait, what are you doing?
Right, look at there we go. Is that locked on me now? Am I talking and that's staying there? Look at that. Isn't it cool? That's new in stock, and they're going. I've been told to tell you that they are going out the door like wildfire. I was going to make a motorbike type pun then, but I don't know any. They're going out the door without stopping. And
I must admit, you brought that up, and I was like, "Why are we looking at a motorbike? Oh, look, it's that much. Oh, look, it's 1/6 scale. Holy cow, that is."
Oh wow! Would those girls sit on that bike? Were they 1/6 scale?
No, they're 1/24 scale. They look like tiny midgets.
Anyway, Pete mate says we can give it away.
Whoa, really?
He said we can give that away.
What now?
Yeah.
Well,
not now. Not now. Oh. I think we'll have it. I think we'll do it in the chat, the comments again for a
That's
bit.
what I'm doing now, not next week. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Anybody who's just left, you really don't want to leave.
Yeah, we told you have to stay right till the end.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So right. Right. What can we have? Right. What
okay. Well, the other one we obviously had them saying thanks. Thank you. What was it? Well, wow,
thanks, Pete. Yeah. Wow, thanks, Pete.
I think for this one, they should say, 2 wheels better.
2 wheels better.
2 wheels better.
Yeah.
So I've just typed it in the chat. So obviously, that means you can enter both of these giveaways. So you can put 2 comments in the comments. One that says, "Wow, thank you, Pete," or whatever it was, and this one that says 2 wheels better. So you can put 2 comments down, but it has to be different sentence in each one. And it'll be exactly the same. We will draw the winners next week. I'm shocked. I'm amazed by that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice one, Pete.
So you never know.
This is why it's worth sticking to the end, because Dave Barker says Pete is a god. This is why it's worth staying to the very end. Because all those people that have left now and they're not going to come back and watch it again.
Yeah, they think they've seen it all. Well, that's it. Got to stay at the end. I think. Yeah. Well, wow. On that note, my laptop isn't going to pick up this chat again. So
Adam says, "Can one person win both?" Well, we'll draw the comments at random, so it's not entirely impossible that the same person could have the comment. The random comment picker could pick the same person twice. In which case, that person would win both, because we're going to do it. We're going to use a third-party website, YouTube comment picker, that will pick the comment at random. So we're not going to make a decision, like run it through the system. Bing, there you go. So it's not impossible that somebody could win both. It's unlikely, but it's not impossible. So exactly the same. Exactly the same. The other thing as well is the moderators in the chat. They are just our friends that are helping us out, so they can enter the competition as well. Is that right, Ted?
Yeah, they're not connected with eModels. They're just here doing us a favour.
Yeah. So the moderators are able to enter the competition because, like, Ted and I are obviously, I'm sponsored by eModels and Ted's working on behalf of eModels, so we can't enter because that will be a bit rum. Oh, look, I won the big expensive motorbike. Yeah. Ted, you've won the other one. How handy. Saved on the shipping cost. So we can't enter, but the chaps and the mods in the chat, so Adam and TK and everybody else, they can enter because they're just helping us out. So
yeah, they're not connected.
They still looked on you, by the way, Ted. Apparently.
Oh right, sorry about that. There we go. There you go. Talk. Yeah. So that's it.
TK says mods are not in any way connected to, and Fox just said that again. Keeps typing stuff out.
Yeah, keep up, TK.
Keep it TK pay. TK pay what? You're losing it, Ted.
Right. No, as we're all mixing our words, and people are beginning to think that the drink is actually starting to hit us now.
Yeah. Before Pete starts giving away the Dora, because it's going to get terrible. Yeah. So put your comment in once this stream is finished. Give it 10 or 15 minutes for it to come up on YouTube, and then put a comment on the video in the old-fashioned way of putting a comment on a video. Yep. And we will announce the winners next week.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you do it today or tomorrow. They'll all go in the same pot. They'll all be drawn next after midnight on Saturday. Yep. Is that what we said?
We'll either draw it sometime Sunday or before the show on Monday. So up to midnight Saturday GMT.
Yeah, we'll find some way to do it. Okay.
Right. A waffle.
I think that's about 2 hours worth of waffle chat and giveaways. Wow.
William says waffles.
Waffles. Yeah. Speaking of waffles, I've had an intake.
I've got two downstairs. I've got two downstairs.
No,
I haven't. Oh, I just got excited for that 2 street waffles and then realised I ate them earlier. Oh, sadness.
Right. Well, that's decided. I don't need a wee tonight. I need to go get a waffle. So, all right.
Waffle.
Right. Time to go. We've been here for 2 hours now.
Yes,
and
that was awesome. That was an awesome giveaway.
Okay. It's been a brilliant night tonight. And look what happens just for how.
Alex Cattell says, question, 1 comment for 2 entries or 1 per entry? I'd say 1 comment per entry, so 1 comment for 1 video, 1 comment for the other, because we're going to draw them separately.
Yeah.
So if we pull a winner, so do 1 comment for the motorbike and 1 comment for the awesome, so adorable ship.
Yep. Okay. Right. Right. Well, it's goodbye from me.
Thank you. Goodbye from him. We really must come up with something else, because that's just stealing from the 2 Ronnies.
Stealing everybody else's gags. Anyway, I'm about to go and slap it on for some of the bits on this U-boat world, and slap it on. We'll see you all next week. Now you've got to come back. You've got to come back next week to find out if you've won.
Exactly. Monday. See?
Yeah, we know what we're doing. We're not daft. We might look it, but we're not daft.
We are daft.
All right, we're daft. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Thank you from eModels, emodels.co.uk. Go along and have a look at the website. There's some fantastic stuff on there. Some flesh ones as well.
Go give Pete your monies.
Yeah, and tell everybody else that they should come along next week as well, because you never know what's going to happen. Keep watching till the end. All right, folks. Bye.
Yes,
say bye, folks. Say bye, folks.
Bye, folks.
I can't find a button. They said no. Bye.